You are listening to Bearheart Kokopelli, the artist that we will be interviewing today. I want to tell you a little bit about him. He is a Native American Music Award winner, a Native American Style Flute Award winner, and Global Music Award winner. He is a Native American flute player and maker of flutes. He is a world flutist, multi-instrumentalist, passionate player, and maker of Native American flutes. Bearheart Kokopelli released Heart, which is dedicated to the spirit and music of Native American flutes, under the Bearheart Kokopelli moniker in 2016. In late 2016, he contributed the title track of his new album, Native Heart, to the compilation CD, Sacred Inspirations Volume 2. In early 2017, Bearheart Kokopelli received a Silver Arrow Award and contributions to the Native American music industry by Donald Black Fox. Later in 2017, Bearheart Kokopelli has been nominated for award and has finally been awarded with a NAMI, the Native Heart category. Best contribution by a non-native, his album Native Heart. In January 2021, Bearheart Kokopelli received an international award of outstanding achievements with Walk in Beauty. The German name Bearheart means heart of a bear and stands for courage and strength, while Kokopelli is the name and symbol for the universal flute player who creates the world by playing his flute and who is in resonance with all parts of creation. Kokopelli symbols were found on many petroglyphs throughout Central America. Combined, the names Bearheart and Kokopelli stand for the archetypal shamanic flute player with a strong heart and personality.
All right, terrific. I want to welcome you to Moccasin Tracks, Bearheart Kokopelli. We've been playing your music the last half hour. We're really getting into that meditative state, so we got to wake ourselves up a little bit. So, welcome to our show. It's really wonderful to have you on, and please meet co-host Rick Hunt.
Hello, Bearheart. Welcome.
Hi, thank you very much for the invitation.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself. Now, you live in Germany, and when was the first time that you became a flute player? And I know you make flutes as well. So tell us a little bit about that journey.
Right. Well, actually, I'm not living in Germany. I'm living in Austria, which is not far away.
Okay.
And we speak, of course, German, but here in Austria, it's a bit like a different dialect. You know, like in the States, when you go from one place to the other, it sounds a little bit different.
Sure.
Right.
But you picked up the Native American flute, and from what I've seen pictures of the flutes that you make, they're really beautiful. How did you get inspired?
Well, actually, I am making music my whole life. And when I finished with school, like with what we call Matura, which is which is the end of the school before you go to university. I started traveling a lot, and for some reason, you know, life is magic, and you don't know really exactly what crosses your path sometimes. In my path, um, yeah, the flutes crossed my path, and they found me actually. As I would say, not I found them, they found me. Yes, and it just became my my life, making music, playing flutes, actually building flutes, which is interesting. It started from, in the beginning, I didn't have that much money to buy instruments, you know, when I was younger. So I just started to make them by myself. And that was the beginning, in fact, you know, the beginning of building and playing with different musicians all over the world. And yes, just just going, walking the flute path, walking the sacred path,
Mm.
as I would call it.
Yeah, well, that I think it's your latest album, Vision Quest, and
Right.
there's pictures of you. It looks like a stone labyrinth that you're walking around, and um, all those, all that background really sets the sets the stage for this beautiful music that you're creating. It's really wonderful. I love the accompaniment of the guitar. And can you talk about how that happened?
It's very funny because like this guitar player, Harald Petersdorfer, which is in fact my favorite guitar player, I would say, on the acoustic, like on the acoustic guitar. He one day wrote me a message, and he said that maybe I would like his music. And when I heard like what he did, I said, "Wow! I one day I have to play with him," and that really happened. And the really interesting thing about Vision Quest, about this album which we recorded, uh, like in the beginning, I just asked him for my second album if we could record two musical pieces together. But when we met, um, as I would say, there was the flow, you know. So we just started to make music, and from one day to the other, there was enough music here to make an album, and that is Vision Quest.
Oh, beautiful.
It was
Oh,
recorded in 2 days, 2 afternoons,
Oh,
wow.
without any editing or
huh.
cutting or something. It was just like we played, and that was it.
Oh,
Huh.
And that
oh,
was really magical, you know.
yeah, it certainly is.
So it sounds like your your musical inspiration just comes to you.
Right. I think Harald, like the guitar player, says the same. Not I play the music, uh, it plays me.
Hmm.
No? So
Yeah.
it's just starting and sort of, yeah,
Mm,
just be open to what comes, you know?
yeah.
So, and it's really funny because I have made a lot of music in my life until now. But with the Bearheart Kokopelli, like what I'm doing as Bearheart Kokopelli, like with the flute music, it's really like it plays me in when I just start it. It does what it does, you know.
Mm,
So
that's
it's very it's like magic, you know. It's like
Hmm.
entering a field, you know, and just be open to what comes. That's it.
mm-hmm.
And with Harald Petersdorfer, it really worked very well because he does the same with his guitar music. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he has the same approach to music. You know, and when that can happen, that this is really amazing
Oh,
because we have never met each other before. You know, it was just we met. and we recorded, and that's it. That was very, very amazing. Amazing
Yeah,
experience.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was meant to be.
Right. Definitely. Yes.
Mm. Well, tell me, how does this differ from your musical experience before picking up the flute? What kind of music did you play in your early years?
Well, I started like in a very young as like age with traditional Austrian folk music, in fact, you know.
Oh, wow.
So and my thing was that I had a teacher, and she always wanted me to play like from notes, you know, written music. But I didn't want to do that. I just played what I heard, you know. So after a while, we just went our separate ways because she found out that like the music she gave me, I just played from like from my memory what we did in the lesson. And when she found out that I'm not able to play notes really well, we just went our separate ways. You know, it didn't really work that well. And then I actually wanted to go into this direction of playing guitar and singing. You know, like folk music.
Hmm.
But then flutes came and magic the magic happened, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
So are you touring around playing flute with your guitar player friend, or going more solo these days?
going in fact more solo these days, you know, like what happened the last 3 years, 2 years,
Hmm.
like with COVID and stuff like this, it destroyed a lot, you know. So we have to build up again, you know,
Hmm.
because when Vision Quest came out, it was before actually this worldwide COVID crisis, you know.
Hmm.
And when we wanted to do something, to tour or something like this, it didn't really work out, you know.
Yeah.
We had to stay at home, you know. It was all over the world. So now this is over. It seems like this is over. So um, coming back to music on the outside again, and trying to build up again everything,
Hmm.
you know. So and it was more actually like preparing new music for for a new album, and going this direction, you know.
Hmm. Well, that's exciting. I also noticed that you have a lot of music videos. People can go to YouTube and find your channel there, um and that's a beautiful thing. Um do you think that you'll continue to share your music with guitar and some other sounds?
Well, I'm not sure if you've seen. I've recorded a musical piece in 2020, which I also have on YouTube, where I play with a lot of different instruments like Native American flute, overtone singing, didgeridoos, and also drum. You know, sort of like a multi-instrumental piece of music, which I recorded by myself.
Oh.
So that was actually the idea, because like the first Bearheart Kokopelli album which I recorded was just only like flute,
Hmm.
no accompanying instruments at all, you know, just going into the studio with my flutes which I built by myself and recording, and that's it, you know. And for the second album, actually, I wanted to go into this direction. How to say, recording flute music, but with different accompanying instruments.
Hmm.
So as I said before, I only wanted to record with a guitar player two pieces, because I had in mind, I also wanted to record with other people. But then
Mm-hmm.
the music which we recorded was so special that I said, okay, this is the second album,
Mm-hmm.
and all these ideas with different instruments I'm doing now for the next project, as I would say, you know.
Terrific.
So that will be the
All
next
right. All right. And are
recording.
you continuing to build the flutes as well?
Of course,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's how to say, I love making music, you know, and playing flutes. But as much as I love to play them, I love to build them, because you can imagine this is something which is really holistic, you know, like
Mm.
you go into the forest, because the flutes which I make, they are branch flutes.
Hmm.
So I go into the forest, and I find the pieces of wood,
Mm.
and then I don't cut it. It's just what lies on the ground, you know. And yeah, and then there is a lot of work, like getting the bark off, and looking at the branch, and what is the shape, and how can I make a flute out of it, you know, where would be the the holes for the fingers, you know, and stuff like this. There's a lot of inspirational like preparing work before
Mm-hmm.
the actual making process, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
the, the cutting, and the different um, yeah, how to get the flute into life, you know,
Mm-hmm.
before this can really happen.
Are you using mostly hand tools, or how does that work?
Only hand tools,
Mm-hmm.
no electric stuff, you know, because this is just what I think. Like as a musician, you know, the resonance and everything which goes into the wood when you make the flute, of course, creates the special character of the flute. So if you do that with electric tools, you know, of course
Mm-hmm.
you can do it, but it's not really my way, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of different ways to make flutes, and my way is just um, using basic tools, like
Mm-hmm.
no electric stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
not
It sounds
not
like
getting too
fun too.
technical, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like a lot of fun going into the woods and finding these branches, that are just there. They're like gifts. And you pick them up and create something very beautiful. So yeah, good for you.
Yeah, it's an amazing experience, actually, you know, because um, if you go into the nature, things happen which
Hmm.
are uh, yeah, I don't know how to say, like, yeah, it's a magical thing to go out, and coming back with something
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
which you're not able to plan before, you know.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is also like the music, you know. If you just are open and going into the field of creating music, you never really know what comes from the field, you know,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
how it will sound, and right.
What are your listeners saying about your music? Do you get feedback from people who listen to your music or maybe attend the concert? And what do they have to say about your flute playing?
Well, there are like different things which they say. Like some of the listeners are very. Um, it's hard for them to understand that somebody who is not really native um, plays on a native flute, you know, and goes into this path of also like a spiritual experience, you know.
Hmm.
So this is the one thing. Um, and then a lot of people, of course, say that it's very touching for them, you know, on the on the heart level. like when they hear the sounds of the flutes and how I play it, and what kind of experience on an inner level they get, like pictures, or feelings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's it's like meditation, or it does something to them, of course.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So mostly these sort of feedback, this feedback I'm getting from the
Mm-hmm.
people
Mm-hmm.
who listen to it.
Bearheart, do you ever write lyrics to your music?
I'm starting with it for the
Are you?
next project. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Great.
So the
Interesting.
first two albums, of course, were only instrumental,
Mm-hmm.
works, and the next one definitely goes in more into this what you said right now, combining music also with words, and
Hmm.
yeah, adding this level to the music. Yeah.
Nice.
That's
So this
wonderful.
is gonna be different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting for you to keep moving and pushing yourself to create some different kinds of sounds. Yay, good for you. We felt here in the studio when we were playing your music, very quiet. It was like quiet time. It's like, oh, okay, we're kind of at that opportunity to, reflect within a little bit, and kind of, like take yourself away from all the electronics that are surrounding us here as we do this radio broadcast. But it was really lovely. It was very beautiful to have that. We had a plan, we we're going to play your music first before we talk to you so that we could, really feel that vibration. So it was really wonderful. And uh, I really appreciate it. So I want to thank you for sending us the music so that we could play it today for our listeners. And we will continue to share that on social media. And
Mhm.
is there something that you have on your heart that you'd like to share today with the listeners?
Well, actually, if you say it like this, there is a proverb. Actually, it's called "Walk in Beauty." I'm sure you know it. So for me, this is some essential thing that I think is very important for everybody in our um, world of existence right now. Because if you walk in beauty, you can you can put this on every level of existence. You can take it this way, that you say, don't leave any rubbish when you go to a place in nature. But it also says, be kind to each other, which is very important, I think, in the world right now,
Mm-hmm.
probably more than ever. If you look around what's happening on in the politics and everywhere, So I think that would be my message for the listeners. Just walk in beauty and be kind to each other, be kind to yourself, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Be kind to the world, be kind to the nature, to the animals, to everything, because we are part of it. We are not separated, and we don't own anything.
Mm.
So we are part of existence, and I think we should really walk in beauty.
Oh, thank you for that. That's really beautiful. And um, we often turn to our Navajo or Dene friends for their music who speak to that walk in beauty, and that beauty surrounds us, above us, or below us, and uh, really wonderful thoughts and that lesson. Sounds like you're also learning a lot of the way of the native flute, if I could put
Mm.
it like that. That you are walking in a life way that includes the flute. Is that true?
Of course. Like the first album which I recorded with the flute is called Native Heart,
Yeah.
and it's really meant this way. Like it doesn't matter where I went. Like if I went to Australia, if I went to America, if I went to places of Europe, um, I think we all are descendants of natives on our own continents, you know.
Mm.
So of course there are natives in America, but there are also native people like in Europe, like
Mhm.
where we're deriving from, you know.
Mhm.
Every native tribe lived very close to nature,
Mhm.
and they learned a lot from nature, and they all had some sort of yeah, natural spiritual experiences,
Mhm.
and that were the essence of their teachings, you know.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
this is the second thing which I found very interesting. There is this proverb which is called Ahomita Koye Oyasin, you know,
Mhm.
which says that we are all like one family, if you would put it
Mhm.
like this, you know.
Mhm.
So I think this is very important to to live a good life, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we are just part of an ancestral line. We are not just the end.
Right.
The
Right.
next generation is already coming, you know,
Mhm.
and we want to give them a good life, a good base, you know, a good surrounding, a good environment, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think what the natives say in a very in very they don't use a lot of words, you know. It's not a book. It's just three words: walk in beauty. Yeah,
Mhm.
and it says so much, you know. You can think about it. You can meditate on it, and it can be yeah, it can be a way of living. In fact, it is
Mhm.
a way of living.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah,
Mm.
which also brings you to peace with yourself. And if you have peace in yourself, you also project this to the outside, you know.
Yeah.
And
No.
that's also what the flute does.
Yes, indeed. Do you have any more questions, Rick?
Yeah, Bearheart, I know that some flute makers often use wood like cedar or ash. Do you have any of that kind of native wood available to you in Austria?
Well, of course, ash we have,
Yeah.
yes. And we also have a little bit of cedar,
Hmm.
but not that much that, like as in Northern America, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't use these woods for my flutes. Um, yes, I think the wood, I'm not sure, is called spruce maybe, which I'm using,
Mm.
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
I'm not sure. Uh, I have to look how it's really called.
Wow.
I think spruce is it
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
called. Yeah, because it's a tree which is familiar with the cedar tree, but it's not cedar itself, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it has a similar like consistency, you know. It's not that hard, but it's not that soft. It's yeah, it's quite good.
Hmm.
Of course, if I would live in a place like in Northern America where there's a lot of cedar, yes, then I would use this wood as the natives do or
Mhm.
did, you know.
Mhm.
But I'm just going out in the wood and looking around and
Mhm.
what is good for
Mm.
flute making.
Mm. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's really been a pleasure to meet you and to hear about your process a little bit. And we'll look forward to your new releases and can't wait to hear some of those lyrics that you come out
Hmm.
with.
Yes, it's an honor to have you on our show today, Bearheart.
Thank you very much. It was a
All
pleasure for
right.
me to meet you
Yeah.
and to share, yeah,